And welcome into the MLB Hot Stove Daily. Appreciate you guys joining us this evening. Rangers, anyway, get off to a struggling start there in Seattle as we expected. Rangers just can't find a way to win games out there in Seattle. Cal Raleigh coming through late in the 8th inning. Chris Martin just leaving one up anyway and just mashing it into the facing of the second deck there, costing the Rangers a close game out there in Seattle. Jacob Degrom, though, did struggle, though, so we shall see if they're able to get him back on the right track. We knew Degrom was having some struggles going into the year, and Degrom has actually referenced that in his first two starts. Well, the results have been decent. Even the results today, 3 runs over 4 innings, don't exactly speak great starting pitching. He was able to limit the damage. I know the Rangers broadcast team was very high on his ability to hit his spots, but he's not Jacob Degrom right now. He's still a very good starting pitcher when he does get right. But Degrom said this is probably going to be a thing that takes him a few starts to figure out, what's giving him the issue. Sounds like it's a little bit of his, his arm slot is the main thing he's worried about right now, trying to find that spot. He will get it, but right now, giving up as many walks as he's giving up, that's not Jacob Degrom. Giving up as many home runs as he's giving up right now, that's not Jacob Degrom either. So if he ends up giving us, say, 3 earned runs over 4 innings, or say 2 or 3 earned runs over 6, I can live with it as a Rangers fan as long as he gets back to being Jacob Degrom in just a few starts. Kumar Rocker goes for Texas tomorrow. Hopefully we get more of the same from him from his last start when he pitched very, very well. I'm expecting them to have a few more strikeouts in the game than what Kumar Rocker was able to put out last time. As far as the knee-jerk reactions to this lineup, we've seen this lineup continue to struggle out there in Texas. But the lineup is starting to come around, and that's even with Wyatt Langford now on the injured list. Jose Quintana for the Milwaukee Brewers pitched 7 shutout innings for the Milwaukee Brewers. Welcome back to Major League Baseball, Jose Quintana. Just a great day for him. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Tell us where you're watching from. If you're a Brewers fan, let us know what you guys think of Jose Quintana's great start to kind of stabilize that Milwaukee Brewers rotation. Other teams that had notable games today, the Phillies, the Yankees, Cubs, all come back down to earth a little bit as their offense continued to have some struggles today. On the positive side of things, the Houston Astros finally shake off the rust offensively, putting up 14 runs against the Los Angeles Angels, who got off to a great Cinderella start to the season. Wasn't expected to last very long, but good on them for finally getting things going there as well. A few other teams shaking off the cobwebs today anyway. But I want to get into the weeds a little bit of lineup construction as far as some of the issues we're seeing on some of these teams. We'll use the case study of the Rangers today and kind of go through what their lineup should be looking like, with Semien continuing to struggle at the top of this lineup. Jock Peterson looking like, well, he can't hit his way out of a wet paper bag right now. He is a very good offensive player who is in one kind of a struggle right now. It's still early in the season. He's not an everyday player. He does play primarily against right-handed pitchers. Lefties, he's on the bench. He's a late inning substitution against a right-handed pitcher. But he's a player that could use some time off here. I wonder if they put him on the injured list for a few weeks, or at least 10 days anyway, to just kind of sit on the bench for about 5-6 days, go to the lab anyway and just work on his swing a little bit, work on his pitch recognition. And then, when it gets time to call him back up to the major leagues, go out and do a rehab assignment, get back to knocking the cover off the ball like we expect him to do, and just try to fix his swing that way. As far as giving him more at-bats in the 5-hole right now, you can't justify it if you're Texas. If you decide to not put him on the injured list, the only way to play him in this lineup is at DH and to move him down in the lineup into that 7-8 role. Leody Taveras does not deserve to be in the lineup right now. Kevin Pillar should be. Dustin Harris's at bat looked very competitive. I would like to see him a little bit more here, as we've seen some struggles from a few of the stalwarts in the lineup. Jake Berger looked silly on his strikeout in the earlier in the game today, but finally was able to get a sharp base hit into left field. He still has the defense over there at first base a little bit better than what we were expecting going into the year. But I want to get into some of the lineup construction issues that the Rangers are facing right now. We'll get into those and some of the other free agents that are still out there. John Heyman touching on David Robertson and J.D. Martinez both being on the scrap heap right now. One of those guys who just came off the scrap heap about a month or so ago was Jose Quintana. 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs allowed. These guys are still valuable. They still provide some good innings if you're looking for a reliever. Still give you some good RBIs out there if you're looking for a J.D. Martinez type. But those two guys should be on Major League clubs right now. If Jock Peterson continues to struggle like this and say for some reason they can't shake it off by, say, June and J.D. Martinez still isn't signed, I wouldn't be surprised to see Texas throw their hat in the ring for him as well. Alrighty. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, Rafe, Ethan, Heel. Appreciate you joining us once again. Let's see here. Appreciate all you guys joining us. Semien Degrom is cooked. I just think he's working on the mechanics. He told us that 2 starts ago after his opener, his first game that he pitched anyway, when he was very good. Second game that he pitched, he was still very good, but struggling with his command a little bit compared to what we expect for Jacob Degrom. All these walks are not like Jacob Degrom, and he kind of knows that. It's just a matter of time until he gets there, and I can live with what he's giving the Rangers right now. The bullpen's been fairly good so far. Chris Martin gave up his first earned runs of the season tonight. Hobie Milner's been great. After a rough spring training, he's looked dominant so far. The one thing I didn't understand, the way the Rangers decided to attack the 8th inning. They had so many lefties in this lineup. Maybe you thought their bench would bring out Mitch Garver off the bench to hit, or whoever the case may be. But there was no reason to stick with Chris Martin against a tough lefty in Cal Raleigh. I would have brought in a lefty to solve that situation there. You have lefties in the bullpen to utilize, and with like 6 or 7 lefties in the lineup, I don't understand the decision to go with Chris Martin in that situation rather than a lefty against this lefty-heavy lineup tonight. This was not a, hey, we want to go try out our horse out there, show that he can handle the 8th inning right or left. We're not going to worry about platooning or going with the positional or the right-left advantage or whatever. This is not the time in the season to do that. Not that that's the time in the season any time of year to do that. You always want to try to win the game. And I think Bruce Bochy tried to go with one of his guys, like he likes to go with Leody Taveras because he's one of his guys in the lineup right now. Bruce Bochy is a great manager, but he does have a soft spot for a lot of veterans on this roster. Adolis, Leody Taveras, Chris Martin. And while they're producing, absolutely, keep them in the lineup. But when they've shown you consistency issues like Leody Taveras has, when you see a clear lineup or a clear advantage by bringing in a lefty, showing how dominant Hobie Milner was for an inning and 2/3, I understand bringing out Hobie Milner. You want to save him for another outing here against Seattle. You don't want his pitch count to get too high up there. You bring him in to face Julio Rodriguez to end the inning. Great. All fine with that. But then you bring him back out for the 8th inning. I think they should have gone with another lefty there to solve their issues there. Good for Mark Church to get some experience here, continuing to progress as a major league pitcher. I think this is kind of a learning year for him, and he kind of learned a little bit today. I'm excited to see what his future holds, but he's not a late inning option right now, but good on them for at least utilizing him in the situations that they are right now to at least get him some experience at the MLB level in low pressure situations. But I do not understand the usage of Chris Martin in the 8th inning. You had lefties available. Why not go to them? As for Jock Peterson struggling, like you say there, Ethan, I'm not going to say I was completely right on him because I didn't even see this. I saw Jock Peterson being kind of a quote-unquote luxury item that while you think he might be better than Nathaniel Lowe, there's no guarantee. While Nathaniel Lowe had his struggles as far as getting into that power, I thought he was a very good on-base first baseman, a very good defensive first baseman. Now, you could make the argument that you make the trade for Jake Burger. Maybe you just play him at DH instead of Jock Peterson. If the power isn't coming for Nathaniel Lowe, you have Jake Burger already in-house. You save the money on Jock Peterson, are able to get the deal done for Kirby Yates. But that's not how the dominoes fell. Ultimately, they decided to go with more offense, more power. Jock Peterson was supposed to be one of those guys that brought that. Burger has been decent in the power department, but we need to get him on base a little bit more. He's going to be better. Same thing for Jock Peterson, but the early returns have not been especially great on the new additions offensively for the Texas Rangers outside of Kevin Pillar. Call it an exaggeration, but this Rangers team is not good enough. The offense has been underwhelming, and the pitching has been middle of the pack. We need to get it together. Pitching has actually been pretty darn good for Texas. I won't give you that one. As for the offense, they were one of the worst teams in baseball for the first 2 weeks of the season here. Over the last 2 or 3 games, the wheels are starting to roll here. They're starting to go downhill. Corey Seager gets a couple of home runs. Josh Young comes back and starts hitting the fastball. It's kind of crazy to see his impact on this lineup, but the way he's able to drive the ball, Jonah Heim, the one thing I will say for Jonah, while he's had his walk-off already this year, and you might not be satisfied with how this game went for Jonah Heim offensively, the one thing I will say for him, he's still hitting the ball in the air. And that was the issue for him last season. Every single out was a lazy ground ball to second base that he rolled over every single time. One of the worst offensive players in baseball last year, especially at the catcher position. In fact, he was the worst player in baseball for the majority of the season offensively. This year, the outs for him are all pop-ups. They're all line drives to the outfield. They're all wall scraping, outs on the warning track. That's what I want to see out of Jonah Heim. I don't want to see him rolling over pitches constantly because that means bad habits are digging into his swing here. I'm actually encouraged by what we've seen out of Jonah Heim so far. But we'll have to see what they decide to do as far as the lineup in Game 2. Do they keep Jonah in there? Will they shuffle this lineup around? But the one I'm really wondering about right now is Marcus Semien at the top of this order. Outside of the 7th inning double, where he basically was overmatched in that at bat, got lucky by getting that ball past Mastrobuoni down the line, down the third base line, and got into second base. I say lucky because he was swinging at pitches in that same at bat a foot outside, a foot above his head. a foot below his knees. He was a very inconsistent hitter in that at bat. He's not seeing the ball very well. He's striking out, grounds out to end the game in a double play there. He's not performing well, and I thought going into the year, Marcus Semien should not be the leadoff hitter, and I still very firmly believe that. Corey Seager, I worried about his production anyway at the number 2 hole. I wasn't prepared to move him out of that number 2 hole yet, but if he continued to struggle for another week, I would have gladly moved him into that number 4 spot in the lineup and brought up, say, Wyatt Langford if he was healthy, Josh Young, other pieces that are performing well towards the top of this lineup because the offense was struggling at the time. The offense is no longer struggling. You can bide your time here with Corey Seager as the power does show it's coming back a little bit here. But Marcus Semien just looks completely overwhelmed to the plate right now. He needs a day off. He might need the 2 days off here just to kind of get his head right as far as the offense is concerned. But again, he's one of Bochy's guys. He's going to trot him out there every single time he says he's healthy. I think it's time to bring him out of the lineup tomorrow. I would not wait another day. I'd get him out of the lineup right now and at least sit him down and let him have a day off. Worst case scenario, he just gets some rest and hopefully he goes back in there and performs a little bit better. Best case scenario, he gets a little bit rest and performs a lot better now that he's not putting so much pressure on himself trying to be the Iron Man that he's proven to be for the Texas Rangers. Rangers 8 for 33 versus the Mariners, last 41 in Seattle. Absolutely, they do struggle in Seattle. We've talked about that quite a bit. Try to catch up on a few of these comments. Jorge Polanco is having a great year. Did not see that one coming. Was not speaking well about his offense. I said he was basically a below league average player to start in your lineup going into opening day. Boy, was I wrong. And while he's not able to play the field right now, he's still hitting the ball very hard offensively. Good on him. Walcott going to make Semien available next year. Semien's contract's too big to move right now, and I don't think him being the vocal leader on this team is going to make him available either. Heel, you want to talk about coming back to earth? The Angels literally opened up the bakery to the Astros. Cookies for everyone. Well, we knew it was coming there, Heel. We knew it was coming. Rafe, I'll never be as mad as us giving Degrom that contract because when he isn't pitching, he's still helping the other pitchers tremendously. But after seeing him make $37 million to be hurt or bad is starting to hurt, I wouldn't say it's starting to hurt yet. I still think they have the finances to do whatever they want to do right now. I think they're pinched a little bit as far as the decision-making between Jock Peterson and going after Kirby Yates. I think they chose incorrectly, but that's just me. I still would have tried to trade Nathaniel Lowe. I would have looked for some relief help in return. The one I advocated for was one of the possibilities was David Bednar. Good thing we didn't bring him in. He's not been very good so far this year, obviously, after being demoted by the Pirates. But I do like Robert Garcia. He's been good for Texas so far. All right, I want to know, I know we will turn it around, but we never start this slow offensively. They do tend to start pretty slow lately. You remember the days where they had the great opening, 3-game series against the Red Sox or the Phillies in the last 2 or 3 years anyway. Those series were immediately followed by really slow starts anyway. That first series, they always came out of the gate gangbusters, and it kind of elevated their averages for about 2-3 weeks early in the season. But nobody really talked about the next series or the following series or the series after that. This Rangers team does tend to be a slow starter in certain respects offensively, but the pitching's gotten off to a decent start to begin the year. Give Milner an extension right now? No. Like I said, he was rough in spring training over about 5 appearances. So far through 5 appearances right now, he's looked very, very good. I want to see him go through the entirety of the season. If he's still pitching this well, he's a setup guy at best in this Rangers bullpen. You're talking a low-value extension. If you do give him one, say a 1-year $5, 1-year $6 million salary would be about as high as Milner could possibly get. Give Josh Smith an extension. There's time when he outperforms Josh Young, and I bet he can outperform Jake Berger. I'm not prepared to say that on Berger. I'm definitely not prepared to say that on Josh Young. I think Josh Young's only issue is the health. As far as Josh Smith is concerned, I'm still not convinced that he can hit lefties consistently enough to be able to stay in this lineup on an everyday basis. Josh Young, meanwhile, I think has the ability to do so, and I think we're seeing the beginning of Josh Young's ascent as a player, because when he's healthy, he's been a very productive player. It's when he gets those knick-knack injuries or a hit by pitch off the hand that keeps him out for a month or whatever the case may be that really derails his seasons, and we hopefully will not see that this year. Apparently, they're afraid of moving Marcus out of leadoff. Well, they tried it in spring training, and they didn't get any good results. I mean, none. That's why they kind of went with the old standby of having Marcus Semien be the leadoff hitter. Heel, thoughts on Michael Young being the assistant manager for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic? He did have some input on the WBC team this year. Not surprised to see that either. I'm ready for Helsley trade now for sure. I'm not. I would rather go out there and sign David Robertson right now off the scrap heap. I say scrap heap. He would still be a very good elite relief option right now. But I'm actually happy with the state of the bullpen if I'm the Rangers. You got some good young development arms that you're trying to work with right now. The one arm that you're trying to utilize and try to get by with is like Garabito, arms like that. But there's no need to go after Helsley. Right now, your late inning relief is Luke Jackson, who's looked pretty good outside of one outing. Chris Martin, who outside of the errors that were committed behind him in his last outing against the Chicago Cubs and the two-run homer to Cal Raleigh, has looked every bit as good as advertised. And the rest of the bullpen's shaped up pretty well so far. Webb's been good. Milner's been excellent so far. And they do have the horses back there to be able to get things done. Armstrong could be the one guy that could be an improvement over there with if you bring in Helsley or Robertson or somebody like that. I did not expect him to make the opening day roster, but so far he's been decent for the Rangers. All right, like I said, I want to get into some of the lineup construction things. So let's go ahead and pull up this Rangers box score. And I just want to show you how they got it currently structured. Semien leading off 1 for 5. Don't let that one hit fool you. That was a complete fluke in that at bat, a double down the line. But again, a 130 average is not good enough for the Texas Rangers right now. He's not seeing enough pitches. Having both Semien and Seager both taking no pitches at the top of that lineup there, and basically getting to the third hitter in this lineup with only 2, maybe 3 pitches thrown by the opposing starter, and you already have 2 outs on the scoreboard is not working. You need somebody a lot more patient in that number 1 spot if Seager is your number 2. If Seager was your number 4 hitter, I wouldn't mind Semien swinging at the first pitch. But you need to get some more pitches thrown, and you need to be more successful as far as getting on base. Some of the options I think they could try: Josh Smith, Kevin Pillar, pieces along those lines. I think even Wyatt Langford could be in contention for this if he or when he comes back, and then move up Josh Young to that 3 spot. As far as Jock Peterson, there's no reason to have him in that number 5 spot. Like I said, I would put him down there, flip him around with Jonah Heim at this point. Heim is a significantly better offensive player right now. Peterson hitting .086 right now is not getting it done. Heim got 1 hit in the game today, average at .303. I'm happy with where he's at offensively. Did you hear the comm team talk about Mark Church? Thought on how long you think it'll take him to set up or closer? I'd say at least a year or 2. I think they'll probably utilize him as a 7th inning guy next year. I think they'll utilize him as a setup guy or closer the year after that. But Church is not ready yet. He's just getting experience right now and is still learning how to throw. I believe the splitter is the pitch they were trying to get him to work on right now. He has 0 confidence in it right now. Who's a big name guy the Rangers are going to trade for at the deadline that we haven't talked about a lot? I would still say they're going to go pitching, and if this offense continues to struggle with Peterson, etc., they could go for a low-cost option offensively. B-Skrills, welcome in. Guardians, I can't remember if they won today or not. Let me go ahead and pull it up for us. I know the Padres did pretty good against the Rockies, of course, 8-0. White Sox completely blasted the Red Sox 11-1. Guardians offense shook off the cobwebs a little bit. 11 hits, 7 runs scored. Not too bad there. Pirates again struggling offensively. Reds get the win there in that division. Mets get back into the win column, it looks like, if they hold on there against the A's. Yankees struggling to a 9-1 loss at home to the Giants. Robbie Ray looking very good so far, 3-0, 2.93 ERA. And as we mentioned, the Astros, 14-3 winners over the Angels. Tigers continue to outpace the AL Central 7-6 victory in Minnesota. Phillies lose 2-0 on the road to the Cardinals. And that's with Aaron Nola on the mound. His pitching hasn't been great so far. Was able to limit the damage, but still not enough to get the job done there. 6-run 5th inning really won it there for the Padres against the Rockies. Not that we're surprised by that result. And the Diamondbacks getting blanked today by the Pirates, by the Brewers anyway. I did not have that one on my bingo card either. Rafe, when is Gray coming back? Honestly, most excited for Leiter and Molly to pitch again. I'm excited for really pretty much anybody in this Rangers rotation right now. I think all of them are pitching reasonably well. I think Eovaldi had his rough outing against the Cubs, but I think he'll be better in his next start. But Gray was going to miss at least a couple of months here. I would expect him back sometime around the middle of June, right before the All-Star break is the expectation right now. I'd be surprised if he's back anywhere before that. Bradford was going to miss at least a month here, so expect him to be back around late in the month or the beginning of May. Anyone we can call up to try in the bullpen? I'm not worried about the bullpen. Like I said, there are some arms that they can call up. Barlow was really good in spring training. They could, of course, use him, but there's no need to do that right now. I like where the bullpen's at for the Texas Rangers. The worry that I have is that lineup, because again, if I'm building this lineup based off of the pieces that they had in there today, let's just say they keep the positions. I'm hitting Smith in the leadoff spot. I'm moving Young up to that 3 spot. I'm moving Heim up to the 5 spot. I'm moving Simeon down to 6, Berger to 7, Peterson to 8, and Tavares to 9. Would I have Tavares even starting the game? Probably not. Would I have had Dustin Harris to start this game? I probably would have. With the struggles that Jock Peterson has had. But when there's a righty on the mound, I think Bochy feels obligated to put him in the lineup right now. But as much as he's struggling, I don't see the wisdom of it. But look at the numbers here. They're just gaudy for Josh Young right now. I would be surprised if he's not hitting third in the lineup tomorrow. But like I said, I'm not expecting Simeon to be moved out of that leadoff spot, as he is one of Bochy's guys. But that would be the first thing I would be looking to move. Move Smith up to the number 1 spot, or Pilar, whoever you're going to have in that spot, and eventually Wyatt Langford if you need to, or if you don't have the flexibility of keeping Smith in the lineup and you don't want to put Pilar out there, maybe put Langford at 1, Seager 2, Young 3, Garcia 4, and just Simeon 5, and kind of roll with a lineup along those lines. But I will agree with you there. Pilar does need to start there. I just don't see the wisdom in keeping Leody Tavares in the lineup right now. The 237 average is a little bit misleading. A couple of bunt hits are really what's driving up that average right now. Speed is a factor, don't get me wrong, but the inconsistency in his calling card, the defense, is the issue for me. Rafe Langford, we need you, brother, please, for the love of all things, only stay healthy. No kidding, my friend. They do need him back in the worst way. But there is no reason the Rangers should have given up 5 runs in this game. That's the biggest issue I have about this game, about how it went. Polanco having 3 hits, Raleigh with the game-winning home run, Tellez. I just don't understand the way the Rangers pitched this game. They had arms to go back to. There are people that they can turn to on this roster to solve the issues. In fact, let me pull up their roster right now. Active. Okay, so in the bullpen right now, you've got Armstrong, Bosley, Church, let's see here, Garcia, Jackson, Martin, and Milner, and of course Jacob Webb. For me, I would have gone with a Robert Garcia to Cal Raleigh in that situation, to have the lefty on lefty situation there. I would have rather done that than go for a Chris Martin. Holby Milner, I thought, did a great job. I'm fine with them taking him out when they did, but I would not have brought out Chris Martin to be able to face Cal Raleigh. I would not have done that at all. Maybe have Walcott and Jock platoon, depending on how Walcott doing in the minors. Walcott is too inexperienced right now. I know everybody's excited to get him to the majors. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on there. Let's not push the young man further than he has to right now. Let him get his feet wet and comfortable at each level of the minor leagues. There's no reason to push him up here right now. The Rangers right now, even with their loss today, let me pull up the standings. Even with the loss today, are still right there at the top of the division. 9-5, a half-game lead over the Angels. And you got a bunch of division games coming up. This is a spot in the year right now where you can really stack up some victories against some tough or a less than good opponent. I'd say the Mariners are not as good as you. I'd say the Astros, until today, with their offense finally waking up, were not as good as you. The Angels, I thought, were a Cinderella story that had finally turned back into a pumpkin. And then, of course, the Athletics are not a great team either in their AAA ball club, or in their AAA ballpark anyway. But the Rangers right now have no reason to push a guy like Walcott way earlier than he's ready. Pardon me. Drink. I feel like this season gives me 23 vibes where I can see bad play and get confused, but they will just go on and be streaky and win it all again. I do think this will be a streaky team. I will say that. I think they'll be extremely streaky this year. They'll go on 5, 6 game win streaks and then lose 3 in a row. I think we'll see stretches like that this year from the Rangers quite often. You did catch a live, Hank. Welcome back. Appreciate that. No matter what, there's always an upside, Sports Network. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you joining us once again. If you guys are new here, be sure to hit that like and subscribe at the bottom of this video. The thumbs up is the one that you need to hit. Hearts in the chat are always great, but be sure to hit that thumbs up as well. You wish Carter could pop off so we could have pop off so we don't have to. We could see what he could have done with Tavares. I know he wouldn't have a lot of hot trade market, but I'm tired of it. Well, I do think Tavares will have a hot trade market just because of his defensive abilities. That's why Bochy likes him. That is a selling point when you're trying to trade him away. And as a fourth outfielder, speed and defense are things that teams want to have in a fourth outfielder. Tavares fits that to a T and has the ability to pop off offensively at times. That would be a decent trade commodity at the trade deadline. But I do not think the Rangers are looking to move him right now. They have nobody to really replace him on the lineup outside of Dustin Harris right now, and I don't think they're going to be doing something like that right now. Kyle Tucker this offseason, that's kind of one thing I'm wondering about with Texas. If they decide to move on from Adolis, that's a possibility. If they decide to move on from Leote and move over Wyatt Langford to center and you put Kyle Tucker out there in left, that could be another possibility. If Evan Carter doesn't hit and you just want to bring in another bat and let go of Jock Peterson, move Adolis to your DH spot regularly, that could be another possibility. I think the Rangers are going to be primarily focused on pitching, and if there's money left over, they will attack the lineup as well. But let's see, Rangers can never just have it smooth and easy, always giving me gray hair and heart attacks. That's baseball for you, my friend. It's a 162-game season. There's going to be days when they're going to be the world's best team. There's going to be days when they look like they can't do anything at all. And we've seen both teams already this year. The offense still hasn't clicked all the way into gear yet. We still are waiting to see Seager and Semien really get going here. They will. I worry about Semien, though, a little bit more than Seager. I thought he would be coming in a little bit better than the start he's gotten off to. And I have my doubts right now as far as how quickly he can get out of the hole he's dug himself already. Rafe, oh my gosh, I hope and pray we get another El Bombi tear versus the Astros. That would be pretty cool to see. Ethan, Yankees seem like Kyle Tucker best fit with Soto money. Possibly. But remember, the teams like the San Francisco Giants, Washington Nationals, Toronto Blue Jays are going to be bidding at the top of the market. Chicago Cubs are going to be in there as well. I just don't think they'll go quite that high. And with Starling Marte's money coming off the books for the Mets, that would be another suitor for Kyle Tucker. Do I think he'd be a nice fit there, perfect in the lineup? No, but I think he'd give them the exact power in that lineup, the impact hitter they're looking for. But right now you have Judge in the outfield. You have Bellinger out there. Of course, he could move over to first. And of course, you have Giancarlo Stanton on this roster and Dominguez. It's not a great fit there in Yankee land, but at least give them another impact bat to that lineup, and you figure it out after that. But teams like the Giants, Nationals, Blue Jays would have ready-made spots for him in their lineup right now, including the New York Mets as well. Banana, welcome in. Appreciate you joining us for the first time with Vlad Guerrero Jr. off the table, who is going to be the best free agents in the offseason. Offensively, unquestionably, it's going to be Kyle Tucker. That's going to be where the market begins and ends as far as best free agents on the block or on the market this year. Bo Bichette could be one of those players as well. Pitching-wise, you got several starters that are going to be out there. Dylan Cease, Michael King, Framber Valdez, among others. Those are going to be some of your best players as well. Luis Arraez, anyway, is going to be on the free agency as well. Jock Peterson could find himself back out there if he keeps hitting this poorly for Texas, by the way. Let's see here. Hank, we will see who raises their value this season for free agency. True. One team nobody is thinking about is the Giants. Absolutely. Stroman really looked awful today. We kind of knew that was going to be coming at some point. You're hoping for good, but I guess he's effed up. Well, he's not performing very well right now. I think he will figure it out, but I think he's going to need some time away from the field in order to get those issues solved. If the Mariners are smart, they know what to do. Just saying, to me, they're a very easy lineup to go after. I think that the Rangers broadcast broke it down perfectly. They hunt home runs early in the game, they hunt walks late in the game, and then they look for their pitch with their power hitters in late game situations. You just pitch away from those issues. You bring left on left out of your bullpen. You make sure you throw strikes that are around the edges of the plate early in the game. You don't try to throw challenge pitches early in the game. Once you get into the later innings, who cares if you groove the first pitch into the zone because they're taking it all the way? Who cares if you groove the second pitch into the zone? They're taking it all the way. And then once you get to an 0-2 count, that's when you throw your off-speed stuff. And that's when you throw your spinning pitches or elevate in the zone or go in or off the plate. And just work within yourself. Work within the tools that you have. And I thought the Rangers did a very poor job of recognizing the strategy there of the Mariners. Instead, they just tried to trot out their same old usual playbook for whatever opponent they're trying to face. Same thing goes for this lineup. Same old issues. Same old results in a lot of cases here. And then again, the utilization of the bullpen, using Chris Martin as kind of a I can't really say the phrase I want to say on the air, but I will say as kind of a, hey, this is our eighth inning setup guy. He's out there no matter what versus righty or lefty, period. And bringing out Chris Martin. Didn't mind him coming in late in the seventh inning to kind of finish off the inning against Julio Rodriguez. Him facing Cal Raleigh is inexcusable. That's why I thought they should have brought in Robert Garcia to solve that one as well. 3-10 Rockies are definitely World Series bound, but he might as well quit playing this year. I don't think so this year. Mariners and Smart have never been together. Mariners are pretty smart as far as keeping this rotation together. In a situation where they don't have the money because of ownership, they're at least making sure they maximize the one thing that they're good at. Another thing that was brought up on the broadcast was the batter's eye out there in Seattle, how hitters I think it drives them nuts, and it's been a problem for years. Pitchers love it because it drives hitters nuts. So they're, again, trying to maximize the one advantage that they have is that pitching staff, and we'll see if they can keep it together through the MLB trade deadline in a few months. All right, appreciate you guys joining us. I know it was a lot of Rangers talk out there today. For those of you who are not Rangers fans, appreciate you guys indulging us. But just kind of check in on a few of the other games that I just mentioned briefly anyway. The Cubs, their offense seems to be coming back to earth a little bit. Guardians shaking off a little bit of the rust anyway. Looks like the Mets are about to win that one against these Athletics, I guess you would just say, or Sacramento A's, whatever you want to call them. Braves continue their losing ways. They won a game the other day just the other day against the Phillies to win their first series of the season. Phillies running on some hard times over the last few days here, but the Rays, their offense finally wakes up against the Braves, 6-3 winners at home there. As far as the other results around the league, as we mentioned, Astros getting off the schneid, 16 hits, 14 runs scored against the Angels. Not surprising, the Cinderella fairy dust is finally wearing off there. Stroman struggled over an 11 ERA right now, but again, it's still early. Finnegan already has 5 saves now for the Nationals. He could be a nice get for somebody at the deadline as well. Bender took the loss in this one, but he's only at a 1.42 ERA. Keep his name in mind as another trade candidate at the deadline. Red Sox get hosed anyway in Chicago, 11-1 losers there. Cardinals 2-0 winners over Philadelphia, as the Philadelphia Phillies have found a little bit of a rough patch over the last week anyway. And as I mentioned, Diamondbacks getting blanked at home against the Brewers after Jose Quintana returned to Major League Baseball. And in his debut game for the Brewers again, through 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs allowed. Great job there. Simeon 3 for 75 left in deal starting next year. I'm not worried about the money on that deal. $25 million, while it's a big number to all of us, in Major League Baseball terms, that isn't exactly a horrible number, and I do think he'll at least get back to a league average hitter, if not better, here very quickly. When is Carter supposed to return back to the lineup? He passed his medicals, right? Just going to give him a couple days off. I would just say that he did pass everything as far as in the minor. He's going to stay in the minors, though. I think they're going to be working with him on the backfield a little bit here over the next day or two, just to make sure he's healthy, and then they'll put him back in the lineup once again. But I would expect him to stay down in the minors for at least a couple of months there. Ethan, Derek Carr to miss all next year for the Saints. They will take a quarterback at 9. That helps Dallas. Honestly, we heard the rumors today already about Aaron Rodgers now being optioned for at least one season for the New Orleans Saints. Yikes. My lady anyway loves the New Orleans Saints, and she's really hoping that does not happen. But we shall see. That's the one quarterback in the league she really can't stand anymore. Tom Brady was the other one. He's no longer in the league, but Aaron Rodgers just drives her up a wall anyway, and drives her nuts. It'd be crazy to see the one quarterback left in the league she hates go to her favorite team. So chaos. Do I want to root for it? I don't want to be mean and root for her to get Aaron Rodgers. I think he's washed. Haven't been a fan of the way he plays the quarterback position for at least a few years now. And I would like to see them go the draft route. If they don't go the draft route, go with a young guy and just see what they have to work with throughout the season, get a better draft pick next year, and get a quarterback at that point. Should never have given him that day off last year. Let's see here. Let's see what happens. Well, as far as Marcus Semien goes, I think he needs a day off. Honestly, I'd give him the rest of this series off. At second base, I would be playing Josh Smith the rest of the series. In left field, I'd be using Dustin Harris the rest of this series as well. Let's see here. Wish Brady won 5 more rings. Never him is the only winner I like. Well, there's a lot of winners that I've liked over the years. Brady, I didn't appreciate him early in his career. At the end of his career, he was a guy I could root for a little bit. I kind of want to see it as a former NFL watcher. The NFL is hard for me to watch anymore. Same thing for the NBA after the Luka trade. So that's why I'm kind of leaning heavily into baseball. Hockey as well. And those two are far more enjoyable right now. Hockey's one of my favorite sports, probably the favorite sport for me. Baseball, a close second right now. It was a tie with basketball and baseball for a very, very long time. But after that trade of Luka Doncic, I still don't like the NFL very much as far as just the oversaturation of coverage and interest, and it just annoys me at this point. I'd still say the NFL is 4, but a very distant third now is the NBA after the Luka trade. It'll be a while before I consistently watch the NBA again. All right, appreciate you guys joining us. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. We'll be back live on Sunday. We'll get our sports talk show going again. We'll talk a little bit NFL, about the NFL draft coming up. We'll touch a little bit on the Saints quarterback situation, Aaron Rodgers. We'll touch on the NBA playoffs about to get going. Finishing touches on the Luka trade, what LeBron and the company look like going into the postseason. Dallas with AD and so forth. Are they able to scrape into the playoffs, or do they try to improve or just try to get into the lottery and hope for the best and get Cooper Flagg as far as a franchise-saving player for them? Remember when Anthony Davis was traded, Anthony Davis was traded by the Pelicans. They won the lottery and got the privilege of drafting Zion Williamson. I wonder if they're hoping for that kind of luck this year after trading a franchise icon in Luka Doncic to be able to bring in Cooper Flagg. Unlikely, but a possibility. But we shall see. Other topics we'll get into. The NHL playoffs are around the corner as well. The Stars kind of mucking things up over the past couple of days with their position anyway going into the playoffs. They had a chance to get the 1 seed, but that seems to have gone by the wayside. It looks like it will be a very good round 1 opponent in Colorado versus the Dallas Stars. So I'm curious to see how that series will go. In goal, I'd say the Stars have the advantage. On defense, I'd say without Miro Heiskanen, the Avalanche have the advantage. And then forwards, I'd say Dallas has a slight edge. But I would be leaning with the defense core heavily towards the Avalanche in most situations. I think the top-end offensive talent might be able to win them an extra game or 2 for Dallas and cause them to win the series. All right, the fact that Nico fired isn't sickening. Absolutely, I agree with you there. I think after the reception that Luka got, and just you guys are going to laugh at this analysis here, but I was flipping through TikTok the other day, and a guy I'd never watched his opinion anyway is Austin Rivers. He has a podcast or a show or something like that, and I thought he put it absolutely perfectly. How he noticed or how he described how Luka was celebrated, cheered enthusiastically with full gusto by the Dallas Mavericks fans early in the game. Yeah, that's our guy. Go out there. We're so happy for you. We're so happy to see you again, etc., etc. You thought that would wear off. And he puts up 31 points in the first half. And he gets into the second half, and every time he makes a bucket, it's just silent after a while, and nothing but fire Nico chants every time there's a foul and free throws being shot. And every time the way he broke it down was every single time you saw Luka score in the second half, is basically like you look at your best friend standing next to you in the crowd and go, "We traded this for Anthony Davis." Anthony Davis is still a good player, but he's not Luka Doncic, and it's just going to be a tough time to watch him out there in LA. I wish him all the best. Mavericks really screwed him over. My favorite team, and I think Dirk kind of acknowledged that by going out there and watching him play his debut game for the Lakers out there in Staples. He was even recognized by the PA announcer there when he went to there to support his former teammate Luka Doncic, and I think Dirk's actions there spoke volumes for what this organization needs to do. All right, Rangers lead the way. True, Luka back to Mavs in free agency after we can Nico. I seriously doubt it. Mavs got $500 million for trading Luka under the table. I doubt they got that as well. I think this is just purely a dumb decision. Jason Kidd's pregame press conference anyway before the Lakers Mavericks game, he was basically like, "Yeah, we were compared to the Babe Ruth trade. That was pretty cool." No, that's not pretty cool. You didn't win for another 86 years. Meanwhile, the Yankees won, 17 championships between then and then when the Red Sox finally won again, and all because you wanted to get money for a play. That's the reason why they did the trade for Babe Ruth back then. And now to be compared to that trade, no, it's not cool. I thought the analysis that one of the first things first guys said, what is his name? I can't remember his name anyway, but the way he put it, chef's kiss. Absolutely great there. Poor AD and Max, man, they don't deserve that. Yeah. Especially Max, he has been a dog for us. I will say Christie's been pretty good. I'm happy to have him on this team, but not at the cost of Luka Doncic. All right. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you guys again on Sunday with our Sports Talk show. We'll talk a little bit about the MLB as well, some of the games that happened over the weekend. And then we're going to do our first game of the week next week. So be sure to join us for that one. I'm leaning towards Tuesday. We shall see. But Thursday is the other option anyway. But I'm going to try to do it on Tuesday night for you guys. So we're going to probably do our very late episode of MLB Hot Stove Daily late that night. And before that, we will try to do a game as well. But appreciate you guys joining us. Hit that like, subscribe. Means a lot to us. Hearts in the chat as always. And stay safe out there, everybody. Y'all have a great evening.